Hey Yuri.
Hello, guys. Oh, only Yumi and note taker.
Oh, cool.
Wait. I shared my desktop. Do you see it, Fabio?
Yes, I can see it.
Alan.
Hello.
Hey Alan.
Hey, Fabio.
Finally, I have good internet.
Oh yeah, you moved to a new place. Where are you now?
Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, okay, nice. And your
Yes.
internet is good?
Very good.
It's a big city, right?
Yes, very big. Hi, Gonzalo.
Hey guys.
What's
Hey.
up?
Hmm?
What's up?
What's up? Headache. That's what's up. I'm with
Headache?
headaches.
Why? Why headache?
I don't know. I just am not sleeping too much these days.
I also had a dizzy head today, a lot of things. And I wonder if someone from community is going to join this meeting. Otherwise, I don't know, we can make it pretty fast.
Yeah.
Hello, Pat.
Hello everyone.
Hey, Pat.
Hey.
Hey guys, 2 more minutes. Alan, you can share how was your holidays.
Oh, they
okay.
were amazing.
This meeting is recording. Let's better to do this in another place.
Okay.
Good. 4 minutes. I guess we can get started and send a message to anyone who missed this meeting with our updates and other stuff. I hope you see my desktop, guys. Remember about antitrust policy notice based on Linux Foundation decentralized trust and the code of conduct. Don't blame anyone and be gentle at this meeting. Our agenda is usual today: updates, GitHub discussions and actions, and Q&A section. So recap from previous week. Pat did a great job presenting NeoPrism and roadmap for this component. As you know, we are planning to deprecate the Prism node sooner or later. So this time is coming, and my fingers are crossed to do this till the end of 2025. And this week, we don't have a lot of updates, but we have some ongoing activities. We started elaboration of proof of humanness for the Discord project with Lay's team, and this initiative is our first initiative with Lay's from the product point of view, and the main idea is to prove that you are human in Discord communities, channels, and servers using your Lace wallet, Git Prism, and probably some kind of verifiable credentials, facing some challenges that prove that you are human. We are thinking about this, like checking email, sending some funds using Ada wallet or PayPal. So this is under discussion, but this is going to be a bunch of challenges, then verifiable credential issued with Identus platform, and particular flows with Discord integration that proves that you are a real human. It's going to reduce the risk of phishing attacks and spams, and might open you opportunities to assign particular roles in Discord based on your verifiable credentials. Yep. We also working on login with DID POC that is might be a part of the previous initiative, but also can be used by anyone who would like to use DID Prism and components to log in to the web page, DApp, or any other way to prove your identity and possibly verifiable credentials if we trigger the present proof flow with the application. And Gonzalo started with issuance in SDK Swift, so we have a strong desire to add issuance to all other SDK. I'm not sure about KMP, but I believe in Gonzalo. And next horizon for us is going to be VCDM 2.0. We postponed this feature in around a year ago, but it's a good time to bring it back and deliver, as you know, number of other capabilities depends on this VCDM 2.0, including open badges and other credential types, probably MDoc. Gonzalo, correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope.
No, okay, I'm wrong. Thank you. So actually, that any questions?
Oh, you are not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Okay,
Yeah, you are not wrong.
lucky. Cool. So overall, we're also going to fix a couple of issues, add tests to new features and capabilities, and approximately in 1 or 2 months, we can release a next platform version 2.16. We will work on the backlog and present it at the end at the next meeting. So the features that we're going to deliver in the platform release 2.16. Okay, that's it. Any question, proposals, ideas? We can go to GitHub discussions.
So
Do you know,
for
guys?
the
Yes, Fabian.
now we can go for the discussion first if you want.
Just take a look if we have anything new with our repo.
I was updating some issues about the VDR driver. So I think we just need like testing now.
Okay, no comments in new discussions, just a couple of likes. And Cardano DB sync resource waste is active discussion. But I guess we discussed it.
Should we close that discussion, because it with the indexer from Pat and my indexer, I think we are covering those aspects in there, at least some of the needs that they mentioned in there.
Yes, and we need to write and publish some kind of summary with alternative to the DB sync. Okay, so having existing infrastructure, we can use DB sync connection from Demeter. It can save some resources, and switch to new options like indexer using file system and GitHub and NeoPrism. If we can mention this here, we can close the discussion and clean up some.
Who wants to do that? Do you or Pat? Or what type of information do you want there?
Just the
there's a
format.
ticket. Yeah, there's a ticket to integrate the indexer to Cloud Agent. So I think we can link that, and once we do that, we can kind of get rid of the node.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Just mention
Maybe
the
I'll
Okay,
find the
let's
link and
do
I'll
this
post
over
it.
this week and share this at the next community call. Okay.
Yeah, let's close the discussion. If it's
Yeah.
not, no one is updating, let's just like put the information there and close it.
I don't know if you guys know, but there is a question in our Discord
I
on
didn't saw it.
Identus containers from Arun.
What is the question about?
It is about the key tree report, I think.
Oh, I will do this over this week.
There is
Okay.
one more thing on the discussion. I was curious if it would be possible for the project's TSC to join one of TAC's meetings and talks about updates plus concerns. You can write it. Do we have anything more to talk about?
Up to you guys. We have a question section and answers. You're welcome.
I was going to
And-
mention before that. Do you remember that friends that I mentioned that is playing with my library that
Mhm.
are trying to integrate Discord? I'm going to invite them to join one of these meetings. So you can just like, it's pretty simple what they are doing. So they just catch on that example that I had, and they have like that login flow. The flow is the same. They are just using Discord to communicate with the user. So the login is through Discord, basically. It's something similar to that.
Mhm.
I'm going to invite them to join one of these meetings to
Okay.
just show what they are doing.
It would be nice to have a showcase and
I mean, they
just-
are using Bitprisma, so they are part of the Identus community, let's say.
should we add them to the?
I can add them. Yeah.
We need one more logo. Oh, where's our logo? Okay, yeah. So we have 4 logos.
We can add that after that.
By the way, I'm waiting for SDJWT LD library to update the version of the lab dependencies they have, so I can also finish the part of SDJWT.
Who?
LD library on SD, so they have the
Okay,
LD
okay.
SDJWT, right? So yeah, they use my library, so I made the PR so they update it for the newest versions. But yeah. By the way, I now have 29 stars on my library.
Wow,
Wow.
great achievement. Do you have a sponsor button?
Huh?
Do you have a sponsor button?
I do have a sponsor button as well.
Tell us when you get the first donation.
I already got from John.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, I didn't get any more.
Let's wait a little bit. Okay, guys. Anything else to discuss, or we can just close this call?
I think we can close.
Okay.
So if
Okay,
you guys
we
want to
are-
review the login flow on that ticket that I mentioned,
Oh, yes.
just give us some feedback and we can like do a pull request to the repository. Where should we put that flow?
This one.
Yeah. Should I merge this where? Should I do a pull request for the didcom? Because
Yes,
Gonçalo wanted also the flow somewhere else, like not in using didcom.
I can share my view on this. There are plenty of ways to implement login with didcom or ADC extension or some custom solution with custom
Yeah, so this one was designed, the flow probably is the same, but when I was designing it, was thinking about didcom.
Yeah, and it's absolutely fine to proceed with it, showcase, and then unable to render. Strange. And then get the feedback from community, focus on other solutions.
I mean,
Okay.
my side is just what I said, right? It's just for me, it's just complicating too much using the didcom. We can simplify. Didcom or IDC, right? So any of these.
I mean, it's complicating too much. It's a protocol. If you want to use HTTP, it's another one. It's just
Not HTTP, like that's what I mean, right? You are communicating in the computer, like in your own machine to make these things. So you should use what the machine provides, right? So, for example, on mice, you would use Chrome bridges. I think that's what is called, since it's a Chrome extension. On mobile, you would probably use deep links to achieve it, right? So you don't have like a communication protocol like DITCOM or whatever. That because if you add when we do things like login with Identus and login with Google or whatever, right? We need to be aware that we are adding these dependencies on their side, right? So adding the DITCOM dependency on the other app side might be something they don't want. So the less dependencies we have, the easier it is for other people to adapt.
But you are adding the dependency on. So what side are you saying that we are adding the dependency?
On the side of the app that is going to verify. Like the app that is requesting, right? To web app, mobile app, or whatever, they will request from a source, let's say Waze, that it basically signs with the deed, right?
Yeah, but the flow there is that you don't adding the dependency on the app. So you have your wallet that has like DITCOM capabilities, and you have the server that is receiving that message. But the app only showing the message. It doesn't need to communicate on DITCOM.
It doesn't need to communicate on DITCOM. What do you mean? It doesn't need to communicate on DITCOM.
We can discuss the flows, but the app that I mentioned in here, it's not using DITCOM. It's just showing a QR code or a deep link.
So it uses deep link.
I mean, it depends what do you mean by it uses deep link?
So what is so this is the flow that you are saying, right?
Yeah. So the invitation, the out of band invitation, like in DITCOM, doesn't matter. It's creating on the server, on the agent of the server. Then the server provides that to the client. In this case, the client is a browser, so the app or something that only shows the QR code or shows a deep link that you scan with your mobile, and the mobile it's able it replies to the QR code directly to the agent using DITCOM. But it could use OAuth or other flows. But in this use case, I'm doing with DITCOM.
But like, don't you have the control of it? This is what I'm saying. Like, don't you have a control of it?
What do you mean a controller did?
Like you have in here the agent service provider, right?
So
So what is
the
that?
agents,
What is that? What
the
what in
agents,
this diagram? What is the one that actually is requesting for the login?
so the agents are the deeds.
The deeds.
So the agent on the server is an identity, a deed, and the agent on the wallet is another deed. So this is interaction between two identities, right?
Well, that's a thing. Like you don't need to provide. In my view, you don't need to provide so many things, right? Like you need the user, right? Let's imagine login with the email, right? As Google does, for example, the Gmail, right? What you do is you provide the app with your email, right? You provide the app with your email, and the app will contact Google services to validate the email and your authentication and so on, right? So you need to log in always on Gmail. So Google provides a route to the app that is a valid email, and you are the controller. So that's basically resuming how the login with the email does, right? In my view, in this case, we don't need to go so far, right? You don't need the good thing about this is you don't need to have a server in the middle. You can just use deep links or whatever to contact the other app, right? And sign with the deed.
Yes, and that's what I'm doing.
But you have a server in here.
So our app also has a server. I'm not seeing what you are mentioning. Everything has a server, right? Like the examples
No.
that you give, that you log in with the email, there is a server.
Yes, but the good thing about this is, well, on email there's a server because the authentication is done by who controls the email, that is Google, right? But the good thing about deeds is you don't need a server because who controls the deed is you. You can sign a message and provide that you are the controller of the deed. You don't need any server to do that.
Yes, but you are logging in what? What are you logging in, Marcelo?
Let's say a normal flow of an app, right? Let's to get straightforward. Let's say a mobile app, okay? And you want to log in on this mobile app, you log in with it, okay? And then when you do log in with it, you choose one of the apps that you can use to log in with it, right? Okay, cool. Let's say it's Lace. Lace can provide this app, the deeds, your deed, okay? And the app that is going to verify can through deep links send a message, right, to the other app, so they can sign this message, and this message can have tokens that are faithful, right? And when the let's say Lace then signs the app, signs that message with a deed, and returns through deep link.
So you are talking about peer-to-peer?
It's not it's not peer to peer because you are on your machine, you are sending a message to another app, and another app is answering.
Sure, but the other app is a server. Like
No, it's not.
Okay, you're saying that I can rename those names. It's just like in the example that I was giving here, I was talking about how to map the Web 2 to Web 3. So I was using names like server and client. But for example, in this case, the app or the web app that you mentioned is the client, is the browser, and it's connecting with something. some server, because in your case that you are exemplifying, it's also, you can also call it server because it's communicating with server, something, right? Also, it's just a question of the names that you are mentioned here. The flow, it's the
Sure,
same.
it's then if you want to think about peer, it's peer to peer. It's never a server because the server is always listening, and in here, it would never listen. Like it just goes direct. It's a link. It's like opening a link, right?
Okay, we not sure how are you going to do that peer to peer, but maybe we can discuss later.
Yeah, we already did. This is something I already did on the Swift in Dubai. I presented this kind of this flow.
Gonzalo, I propose to keep the solution and finish it. And together with it, you can write your document with the flow that we also can implement sooner or later.
I mean, but this is what I said. Like this can be done in multiple ways, right? Like for example, I can imagine this working better with ITCOM in a web scenario. That you don't have the same logic that you have in mobile and other apps in the operation systems, right? So I can imagine this can work, but it's always the app that is going to verify. You always need to add this DIDCOM, and you always need to pass your deed to this app as well.
I see great opportunities for extending and composing this protocol with other DITCOM protocols. What I mean is that between the step 4, send out response message, it's actually the way how we deliver the signed nonce or signed challenge between the wallet and the auth agent. In this way, we can prove that DID wallet is DID controller and owns the private keys. And before sending back 5B, ask plus outcome. As you know, DIDCOM protocols are composable. You can trigger another DIDCOM protocol, for instance, present proof, and the request for additional information from the wallet, and we can figure out some presentation exchange flow where the auth requester asks for particular types of credentials to be presented, just to perform not only authentication, but also authorization based on the claims of the provided credentials. So
all of that you are saying, right? I'm not saying that's not true or it's not doable. What I'm saying is the complexity. Like adding a DIDCOM library that works on a SDK or an app, it's not a straightforward step. You need to implement the resolvers for the DIDs. You need to implement the logic to get the private keys and the public keys, right? And the storage for those keys. So the library can request them.
Yeah, but in here, you don't need to add that on the SDKs. That's what I was saying. This is replacing the flow of OAuth. I even explained that. This is mapping the OAuth of Web 2 to Web 3. So the Google server here is like where I say agent server provider. This is like what you would have in all the Google server. The server would be like a server that you used to develop that is initiating all, and the browser, the client is the browser that does those like flows that goes between tabs. In this case would be like the agent that replies directly to the Google server, because this is the way to authenticate. So the second tab replies directly to the Google server. That is the only way that they have for doing all, and then that is redirect back to the application. But in this case, it's like you have a mobile wallet or a browser wallet, and you never leave the tab that you are. And the server and the client still uses tokens or cookies or whatever. The flow is still the same. I think it's more important discussing which type of challenge are you resolving. So in here, the challenge is a DITCOM message. That is the only thing where I use, the only place where I use DITCOM. It's like, we can, of course, this can be anything else, but this was designed to be, I wanted to propose this to the list of DITCOM protocols. Because there were,
why then use a DITCOM message if it is just for this?
I mean, because it's a flow that it needs to be solved in there, and people were saying that we need the login protocol in there in DITCOM. But this doesn't imply that you cannot develop another one, another login. You just need to sign some challenge that only the DIT can sign, but the flow it's the same.
Tell me one thing: is DITCOM going to sign this message?
You are using, the challenge would be like a message in DITCOM, yes.
So DITCOM will sign this message.
Yes.
So you need to provide the resources to DITCOM to resolve your DIT and get the private and public keys, right?
Yes.
Okay.
On the wallet, yes.
But the challenge that is going to be sent by the out requester, is it signed?
Also, yes.
So the out requester also needs to provide this information for their own DIT, right?
So the agent server provider needs to create a challenge, yes.
Yeah, so it needs to create the challenge. It needs to create all this stuff. So it needs also these dependencies on the DITCOM library that it needs to store the private keys, public keys of a DIT, right? And it needs to resolve its own DIT, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Like DITCOM is pretty cool, but DITCOM is not easy. DITCOM is a complex.
Okay, but if you are going to replace with that, with any other thing that you are saying that we can use directly without using DITCOM, you also need to implement something to resolve the DIT, to solve the private keys, so I am not
That's on
following
the
the
DIT
point.
wallet, but that's on the DIT wallet.
But the
Not on
server,
the server doesn't need to have its own deeds and have its private key and have its private keys. It just needs to resolve the deed of the wallet.
okay, so it creates a challenge,
Yeah.
but then it needs to verify that the reply of the DITCOM agent, the user agent,
Yes.
it needs to verify that reply is valid. So it needs to resolve the keys of the user,
Yes.
it needs to resolve the message of the user, and
Yes,
you
but
still
it
need
just
those
needs to
capabilities.
resolve. But it just needs to resolve those keys. Like it doesn't have a storage. It doesn't require a storage for its own private keys on the deed.
But then the communication needs to be that you need to create a challenge for communication. So the server needs to create a channel where you can reply to that message.
And that's the custom URLs or deep links like that. That's how it usually does. That's what I'm saying. That's how you can communicate that challenge to the deed wallet.
Okay, but then you need to define a new protocol for how that the wallet can reply to that specific message.
Protocol, it will be a simple JSON. I don't know why it would be so complex, right?
It doesn't need to be so complex. This is not complex. That's the point. I'm not following what are your
No, but
arguments.
what I'm saying, it is complex because DITCOM is complex in itself.
Okay, I'm not saying that it's not, but it's already defined, and you are proposing to define something new. I'm not saying that we cannot do that. We can do that.
Listen, it's not even something new. Like you have out there like challenges and stuff being sent on deep wings. For sure, you can find a protocol on that.
Okay. Send us
Like
and let's see.
Facebook uses deep wings. Google doesn't just opens a browser in your apps. They don't use deep wings anymore. But even in the beginning, they were both using deep wings, right? Now they just use the browser app.
Gonzalo, can you compose a short document with diagram using deep links, and we can discuss these two
Yeah.
solutions with community?
Oh, but what I mean is, I don't want to scratch the part of DITCOM, right? I think it can be useful in a few use cases. But most of the use cases these things are used are for personal use, right? You don't try log in with Gmail, log in with Google or whatever when you're trying to log into another machine or something like that. You are always on your machine, right? And it should have like, and for example, even this Google login with Google sometimes now doesn't even go to the server because you have the pass keys normally on your system, right? And they don't even go to the server. They just use the pass keys. Okay. So I mean, it can be easier. Ditcom is pretty complex. Ditcom is very useful, but Ditcom is pretty complex. And for me, in my opinion, it will add complexity on something that it's not needed in most cases. So I don't want to scratch a part of the DITCOM, right? But I also want to, I would like it to be more generic formatted, right? And then you can put DITCOM on top. You see, like create something that is generic, right? And then we can put DITCOM on top, right? We can create DITCOM. We can create a JSON that is passed through with the type, with the attachment type, for example, right? We can have a JSON that has a structure, right? And it can be passed through deep links or through DITCOM on the attachment type with the attachment type, right? So it's something that is more generic, and then you can add a transfer protocol like DITCOM or OIDC or whatever on top of it, and it will work on every single place. Do you guys get what I mean?
Yes, and I will ask you again to compose another proposal that we can review and
Sure,
discuss.
but I have Swift to do. I have KMP to do. I don't have time for all
Then
of
let's
all
put
this
this
stuff,
on
and I
hold
will
for now
delay you
and
guys on this.
go with the solution, Gonzalo.
But I will
See,
delay all of this. Like I don't
don't
want to.
delay. It's not some rush that we need this feature in a couple of options. It's a continuation of the showcase that Fabio started at the review, as far as I remember. And let's finish it and proceed with other stuff. From my point of view, as I told, it's possible to compose present proof before 5B step and introduce another level of authorization based on verifiable credentials, and then after present proof protocol send 5B message. It's absolutely fine. And there is open questions that probably Fabio will figure out that came to my mind right now is how to log out. I mean, close the session, because here we just create a session. And I believe that we also need some message to close the session. And
That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, and probably auth requester also might close session and also notify the users that session is closed. And if we are thinking about particular roles or resources, which is a matter of authorization, we need to think about particular claims or particular strategy.
That is
to-
going a step too far. You are talking about authorization, if the user has authorization to do that or not, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah, that is going a step too far. Like, I would not think about that right now.
But it's usually that authentication is the first step and authorization is the second step in majority of flows. Based on your result of login with DIT, you might be given particular roles or access to resources based on your domain, etc., etc. So Google and any other providers hide this complexity, but here we need to map it to the Web3.
Yes,
Landscape.
but that's difficult, right? Because you would basically to not it would go to the controller of the deed, right? So let's put it like this: when you have authentication, normally it's because you have the email of a company, right? So in the end, who controls that that email is the company, right? And they decide what can you do with that email, right?
Yes. In this case, it should be indeed wallet and
Sure,
request provide additional information.
but who controls that deed? Is it you, or is it the company that controls the deed?
There are two DITs. One DIT is controlled by the company, which is auth requester, and another DIT is yours DIT in a DIT wallet.
Auth requester, no, but the company is not the auth requester. Auth requester can be anyone.
Sorry,
Like,
I didn't get.
for example, if I want to sign up with to ChatGPT with IOHK email, I will probably not be able to because the company doesn't allow it, right? So in here you have three agents. You have the company that issues the deed, right? Or in this case, my email, right? They are essentially the controller of the deed. I'm not, right? And you have the requester that is ChatGPT that is as its own deed, let's say, right?
Mhm.
So this is much more complex on a Web3 system because who is controlling the deed that you want to sign this challenge? You see this like this way more complex than if we have a server as it is right now with Google, right? I don't
So
think
what
it
the-
can be done with sign with it actually, but this is me.
But why do you say the company controls the deed? The point of the deed is to be SSI.
Centralize it, yes.
Sure,
so-
but
Custodial solution.
But what do you do? What do you have authentication for these days? Well, authentication now to what did it say? What it was not authentication, Yuri. What did it say?
I mentioned
Authorization.
authentication and then authorization.
Yeah, authorization. Fabio,
Yeah.
why do normally if you have your own email, you have authorization for everything, right? You are the master.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you have the email of IOHK, you don't have authorization for everything, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is the deal that we have on deeds, right? If you are signing with deed, you are signing with the deed.
Yeah, but
You are the controller of the deed,
yes.
correct? But if you want to input the same as authorization is done on emails nowadays, right? It would essentially say that your deeds as a controller did.
But the point of being SSI is that you are in the control of your own deeds. But we are
Sure.
we now are sorry. now we are talking about authorization and authentication.
Yeah.
So we are mixing both. So this one is just to log in, to provide the identity. It's not to provide any scope for that identity or anything else like authorization to change something. That would be with, for example, imagine that you log in into Amazon, let's say, and you are putting things on your shopping cart, and then you need like to put like alcohol or anything else that needs age verification. Then the Amazon knows who you are, so it can ask directly to your wallet to prove for your age. And then you send the proof, and then you can put like those things on your shopping cart, and you can like order.
Yes, but I think this is not authorization. This is certification.
Yes. So that was the example that you were giving, right?
No. That in that case, you are the controller of your own deed, right? Imagine you had implemented login with deed, right, with ChatGPT, okay? And now imagine we are in a world where all the emails were replaced, and we have IO gave you a deed as your identity as worker of.
But that goes a bit against SSI.
Exactly. But that's the problem. Like authentication, like it is nowadays in SSI. I literally don't know how to do it.
And that's what we are solving with deeds. So you generate your own deeds, is your keys, is your identity.
Okay, but then let's say you log in with it on the ChatGPT. Okay,
Okay.
you log in with it in a ChatGPT. You are owner of your deed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, but that deed also represents IO.
Why do you say that?
Hmm?
Why do you say that?
Because then why do you want authorization? Then authorization is always you are always the master of authorization. You can authorize everything.
Yeah, but your deed doesn't represent IO. You could have a credential that says that you are a worker, or you can do some things that is issued by the one deed that represents IO. But it's not your deed. You have a verifiable credential that proves that you are a worker or something like that.
Yes, but that's certification. That's what I mean. Like
Yes,
this
that's
part of
certification.
certification is another. It's not login with it. Like you cannot let's say how for example in this case of the emails, right? A company gives you nowadays a company gives you an email, but the company controls that email. How can you reproduce that same behavior in SSI?
Gonzalo,
Gonzalo.
I have a mobile wallet, deed wallet, okay? And
Mhm.
I started onboarding in some company. I follow this flow, okay? And
Mhm.
the company ensures that there is a deed and I'm a deed controller, and it can issue me first the newcomer credential in 5B as attachment. But after this, I probably need to pass other flows and participate in some other onboarding activities to do particular actions and receive other credentials. So the way that you can find a Indeed controller is literally authentication, and it's only used to create account, for instance, in some service. Okay, we have a new account with this deed, and we proved that the deed controller is really a deed controller. Everything else can be added on top of it.
Sure. But
Because
that doesn't fulfill the part of certification. What if a company? What if this is the part like it's very difficult to have the same behavior as we have now with deeds and VCs.
Why?
Because right now you have an email that is issued by a company. It's controlled by that company.
Yes.
And for example, when it's all in there on the settings of that email, right? So for example, if ChatGPT, if you try to log in with that email on ChatGPT, right? It is set up already on that email that you cannot log in on ChatGPT.
Yes.
So it's set up for you.
And it's absolutely fine. Company also, for instance, if you need access to ChatGPT in this case, first of all, a company issued you the newbie VC, and then you need to argue that you need to have access to particular resources.
But why?
in
Why do you
this
need
case,
to argue?
ChatGPT.
But
Because
why do you need
companies
to argue?
allow you to do this. We do the same within IAG. If we
No,
request,
okay. But why do you need to argue?
Gonzalo. Gonzalo,
Let me just ask this to Yuri, and then I'll give you the words, Alan.
but
So the
you
thing is,
interrupt me. I cannot finish.
okay, go on.
Okay. You
Can-
need to
can I-
request access to ChatGPT. Company issues you another VC that says that I'm a company. There is a third DID, the root company administrator or whatever. And with this VC, you can start similar flow logging into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT might request you, Gonzalo, can you show me verifiable credentials that company allows you to have access to ChatGPT?
But Yuri, then you don't have login with it. You have login with VCs.
It starts with login with DID, and VC is next
Because
authorization step that
Yeah,
is
exactly. Gonzalo, can I say just something before? I think in Gonzalo's example, like the email, right? In my head, at least, it seems the email is like the VC, not the deed itself. It's different.
The problem with emails that we use everywhere nowadays is that the identity is coupled with permissions, because if you have like an email from a company, it assumes that that person is from the company. On deeds, you have your identity that is not coupled with anything else. Is your identity. It's not your company identity. It's a self-sovereign identity, SSI. So we are solving that problem that emails have. So the thing that you are trying to mimic, in my opinion, it's a problem that we are solving, not a problem that we want to mimic.
well, that depends. You can say it's a problem you are solving, but companies may not agree with you. I can see a lot of cases that this is required. Like for example, if someone has access, let's say, to the repositories, and you fire them, and they are toxic, let's say, you don't want them to have more access to your repositories. But
Yeah, but for example, GitHub. Let's assume that you have a GitHub identity, right? You are working with you have your GitHub associated with the company's email and your personal email, but the identity on GitHub is yours. The company that you are right now cannot remove your identity from GitHub. Even if they revoke all your permissions to access the repositories, you still have your identity at the end. It's not theirs to take. It's GitHub's. GitHub is the only person the only company that can take your identity. And this,
sure, but
no one think.
But then I will go more with what Alan is saying, that it would be more login with VC, not login with it.
No, but login is to just share your identity. Is not to share your permissions. Like when you go to Amazon and you put stuff on your shopping cart, you are like log in with only the identity. Nowadays, the identity is a token, a cookie. When you open the Amazon website, you get a cookie, and that cookie is your identity. You log in with your identity, that is a cookie, but you
I
cannot
know
move
what you're
between
saying,
computers.
but that I feel like login with VC is much more powerful than login with it by these cases, because yes, you can say yes, you have an identity, but there are some logins, like let's say you have to log into a server that is a private server somewhere on a company, right? And these will not, you will not have login with it. You will probably have login with VC.
So that gives even more reason for using DITCOM, because from DITCOM, after you log in, you can go to other flows, like present the credential that has your age, for example.
It doesn't matter if it is DITCOM or IDC VP or whatever. It will be something. It can even be deep links. You can use the same protocols in the or that you use on IDC VP on deep links, for example.
Yeah, of course, but DITCOM already exists and already has some protocols for that. So I'm just
I know you love DITCOM, but DITCOM is not so that it's not that used.
yeah, I know that. I have a library for DITCOM. I'm not. I think DITCOM
Me
has a
too.
lot of problems, but it's solving some that nothing else solves.
Sure, but yeah, but in this case, at least for now, I don't see like DITCOM being a, a huge thing. At least on this case, it can be on the future. I can be wrong, but in this case, I don't think. I think we can. Well, and then we'll go to the same talk. But okay, I get the part of how to. But I think it will be different, Yuri. So login with it would not have authorization at all, but login with VC will have authorization.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, I think that's what about, right?
Yeah,
This flow is
that I would say
to
it's
create a
possible.
session and account. You see, and all other steps can be based on this. And you're right, in OIDC there are extensions, this SIOPv2, OIDC for VP, and we see that solve a similar challenge.
Yeah. OIDC and DITCOM, they are basically protocols for communication,
Yes.
right? So if you can create a protocol and then adapt these protocols to that, I would say that's always the case. Okay, cool.
Cool. Thank you guys. Long
you.
and interesting conversation.
It was a good
In 1
discussion.
week.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I think it's more and more a question of defining exactly what we are talking about, because saying just log in, it's not clear enough.
It's not. And
Probably-
there's one step that annoys me about on login with it, right? That is, you always need a way to give to the authenticator app, in this case, authentication requester, the deed of the person.
Probably it makes sense to rephrase it to authentication with DID. It will
No,
be
I prefer login with it, honestly. It's more
because a SQL login is a more wider term.
Okay, I'll try to do a pull request on DITCOM
Just
community
think
to add
about
the
this.
protocol there, and we can discuss in the pull
Yes.
request and see what the other guys
Prefer
on the community thinks about it.
Yep.
I actually
Yeah.
prefer the other because it is more in line with what everyone uses. So
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, guys, it's
See you
time.
guys in 1 week. Bye bye.
see you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye.